In business today, writing is even more important than it used to be. And for one thing, even if it's only email, just about everyone is required to write. Now, if you've ever had one of your emails misunderstood, you know that even this simple task requires writing technique. Depending on your job, you may be called on to write an email, a formal business letter, an internal memo, a report, or a sales presentation. Business writing is different from other writing. For one thing, length is not rewarded. The shorter, the better. And you're not out to impress anybody with your knowledge. Your goal is to communicate as simply and clearly as you can. Any good writer will tell you that writing takes place in 3 phases: pre-writing, writing, and revising. You start with pre-writing, which is the whole process of evaluating your message and your audience. Next comes the process of writing itself, when you organize your thoughts and compose a first draft. Finally, there's the all-important phase of revising, where you make revisions and proofread the document. Now, of course, these steps are going to be more or less important, depending on what you're writing. For example, you will spend more time on pre-writing for a formal presentation than you will for an email to a fellow worker. Your personal style will also come into play. Some people rewrite every sentence before moving on to the next. Others wait until the first draft is finished. Finally, it's often not as simple as 1, 2, 3. You may find that a revision you make sends you all the way back to the pre-writing stage. The 3 steps of writing are not so much a straight line as a looping back process to get to a really good, effective final product. We've developed these 3 basic phases of writing into a simple model that explains just what you need to do in each phase. Each phase has 3 steps. Let's look at each phase in turn, starting with pre-writing. The first thing you do is analyze the task. What's the purpose of the message? And what's the best channel for the message? And what's the best channel for delivering it? The next step is to anticipate the audience. Who will read the message? And how will he or she react to it? Then you adapt to the task and audience. For example, by adjusting your tone so the message is clearly conveyed and the reader reacts constructively to it. Let's observe how these employees begin phase 1 of the writing process. You'll notice how they explain the predicament, analyze the task, anticipate the audience's reaction, and adapt the message to improve understanding and readability.
I downloaded and installed an update to my 3D graphics program, and now every time I launch my 3D graphics program, it locks up my computer. So I called the company's technical support hotline, and I was put on hold for a half an hour. I have a deadline tomorrow morning. So now I'm going to write the company an email. I want to really go after them. I want them to really understand how mad I am, but I don't think that's going to give me the results I want. So I analyze the task. I want them to provide me with a patch or talk me through the fix. I also need to anticipate my audience. The software company's tech support guys, well, they're probably swamped, especially if they're having this kind of problem. Everybody's probably screaming at them. So in order to get their attention, I need to not be angry. Then I need to adapt my task to the audience. I need to communicate that I understand their problem, that I'm not angry, but I've got this deadline, so I need help right away.
I've got this memo to write, and I'm just a little bit overwhelmed. The financial services company that handles our 401ks is introducing 2 new mutual funds, and I have to explain them to the whole company. Okay, so the task. To explain the risks and benefits in simple terms that anybody could understand. Okay, so the audience, well, we're a financial services company ourselves, so the decision makers won't have any problem understanding. Although the kids in the mailroom might. If I put the risks and benefits in terms of a sales pitch, at least more people will realize they have some new choices.
Well, the customer raises some legitimate points.
Well, maybe. I thought that campaign was going to be really effective. I didn't think we'd get that kind of reaction.
I certainly didn't think we'd get customers angry over it. This is from a longtime customer who's pretty annoyed at us because of a series of pop-up ads that we've been running on the website of a West Coast newspaper. I guess some people just don't like pop-up ads.
Well, the research said they'd be fine. I mean, the ads disappear after 15 seconds if you don't click on them.
But that is a long time in web time if the ad covers up the front page you went in to look at in the first place, right?
Okay, what's the task here?
Well, write the customer and address his points.
Okay, I think we should start off with an apology.
I agree.
Okay.
The next phase in the 3x3 process is writing. The first step is research. This doesn't have to be as formal as it sounds, but you do need to collect all the information the reader will need to know before you begin writing. Then you need to organize the information into a clear, persuasive pattern. A few notes may be enough organization for a quick email. More complicated presentations will probably require a formal outline. And now you're ready to compose a first draft. Now let's see how these employees begin the writing phase of this process as they research, organize, and compose their messages.
So the first thing, since this is their technical support, I need to have my technical facts in order. I need to know the operating system, the processor speed, the available memory, the version number. I've got a lot of things I want to write, but I need to put those in order as well. I need to cry for help, the technical facts, what happened. Oh, and I like their product. That's a great place to start. I like their product. Start out positive. It acts as kind of like a buffer. What happened? And technical facts. Those two are my explanation of why I need help. And a cry for help. This is where I make my persuasive request for their assistance. And closing. If I want them to do something, I better express some kind of urgency. Let them know about my deadline. And a time in which I need action taken. Okay? Let's give it a try. I mean, this is a first draft after all. Dear technical support.
This could be an attractive fund for employees with a diversified portfolio who are comfortable with more risk. Okay. The financial services firm has provided me with plenty of information for my research on this memo. What I needed to do was to pick out the most important facts. As I organized the memo, I decided to keep it really clean and simple. And it looks like it's not going to be any more than 4 paragraphs. An intro, a paragraph for each fund, and a summary to tell the employees who are interested what to do next. Of course, past performance.
Okay, so the first paragraph will begin indirectly with an apology and make it clear how much we value his business.
Certainly.
Now, do we then go ahead and say that the pop-up ads were a mistake?
Oh, well, I don't know, Cliff. I mean, I think we should just let it play out. You know, this was only one newspaper, and it's a pilot project.
Okay, all right. So let's explain. We'll say this has been a pilot project for us based on valuable feedback from important customers such as yourself. We'll take that approach.
Yeah, that can work. Our problem here is that we have to explain to this customer, but our research won't be complete until we get the data back from the pilot project.
What the customer really needs to know at this point is that it is a pilot project. We value his input, we value his business, and we'll follow up with him once all of the results are in. The last phase in the 3x3 process is revising. Every good writer revises a piece before sending it out. Revising itself can involve dozens of writing techniques, from simplifying sentences to improving the formatting. Proofreading, of course, is critical. A good word processing program can catch a lot of typos, but don't rely on the program alone. A word you typed may be acceptable to the program, but not what you meant to say. Finally, pretend you're the reader and evaluate the piece of writing. How will it look through his or her eyes? Let's observe how these employees put the final touches on their messages as they revise, proofread, and evaluate their work.
No, I've got to back off here. I don't want to make him mad. No, I meant thread. Spell checker accepted. Tread. Hey, you think I'm being too desperate here at the end?
Whoa. Oh, you just can't be too careful. After everything I wrote, I went ahead and made a claim on the future performance of the fund. We can't let that go.
Good.
Here's where we get the
Works all the way
main
down.
info.
Oh, that's terrific right there, the way that plays. Oh, I don't know. That sentence there still sounds a little defensive, don't you think?
But it's true. That's what the research shows.
Yeah, but Jackie, there's a customer. He doesn't care about the research. And we don't want to lose him as a customer.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, see, that works a lot better.
Yeah.
It's tighter, cleaner. Good writing. It takes work and practice, but it's something you can master using Guffey's 3x3 writing process.